1. I had a guest visit the front desk at 1 a.m. carrying her pillow. She had a complaint. Our couch and bed is unbearable. Now this is an unusual comment, as by all accounts our pullouts are comfy for what they are, but comfort is in the back of the beholder. So I was prepared to engage with empathy and appropriate assistance. But she already had an offer in mind. We'd let her into another room, not paid, mind you, for free, off the books. Just slip in, only use the bed, easy cleanup, what's the harm? Rather than offer a straight no, I politely began to explain the many reasons that couldn't happen. She flipped her lid. Which sin is entitlement? Envy? Anyways, from that straight to wrath. I had no humanity. I had no idea what my job was. Management would be informed. Her sleeping sister was there for cancer treatment. Also, the street noise was too loud on the absolute quietest road in downtown, facing a silent lake beyond that. How will I sleep? She flew off to smoke and let me think about it. So, on her return, she got a hard no, which made her flip out again. I was a dick, and I was losing my job. Management was building the IKEA guillotine as we spoke. She still didn't understand why I couldn't just let her into a room. Like, what skin was it off my back? I just worked there. I told her, besides the skin of losing my job, I also had professionalism. I offered her blankets and pillows multiple times to add comfort, but she straight ignored the offer. And then, she fell asleep in our lobby. I had to walk over to her and tell her I was aware she was tired, but she could not sleep there. No, she was sleeping there. Repeat on my end, repeat on her end. I told her for safety and comfort of all guests, nobody is allowed to sleep in the lobby, or the halls, or the garage. And she had to return to her room. Was I going to call the police? Yes, I was. You'd throw my sister and me out? Your sister can stay, but not you. You don't know how difficult it is to be a caretaker of someone with cancer. I blinked. Second time she's pulled that. You don't drop a challenge coin unless you're sure yours beats. I leaned in, lowered my voice to a whisper and told her, my girlfriend is dying of stage 4 cancer. I go broke every month making sure she has the pain moderation needed to keep interacting with our children. And even though she's unlikely to see their next birthday, I know she'd rather die today than ever be caught acting the way you are to someone doing their job. So I know what it's like, and you've lost my empathy. Your options are to return to your room, pay for a new room, or get out of my hotel. I'll leave you with your thoughts. Wish I could say I taught her a lesson or shamed her, but no. While I was on security check, she accosted my co-auditor, sarcastically thanking her for her support, as apparently women support women unconditionally. My coworker refused to be drawn in, and only responded with thank you, you're welcome, have a good night, etc., only to get bitched at, name-called, and threatened with unemployment. Good news is I already got a response from management. They'll be reaching out to the guest. She's welcome to stay, but her sister will be trespassed on site. Guess this drama is what we deserve for having the worst pull-out beds in the world. I almost forgot a somewhat important plot hole. We are sold out of our 2 queen rooms. I'm certain that's why yet another party, friends of the patient, rented and paid for this room, a suite, bedroom and couch room having dividing door, with a view. On top of everything, she's complaining about our highest tier room on our highest floor that neither she nor her sister are paying for. Hellfreezer's note. I don't really have any advice to give to this one. I don't think anyone's required. Beyond to say that my thoughts and well wishes are with the OP and their partner. I'm very sorry you have to deal with people like that, and I think you showed more grace and kindness than that lady deserved. 2. This is a funny story, I promise. I've been working overnight audit on and off for about 10 years, from terrible motels to full-service towers, and there's very little that rattles me anymore. I would say this gig is 70% chill. All I really do is run reports and make sure guests don't burn down the building, which is the 30% that is not at all chill. During lockdown, I still managed to keep working, more or less. I'm sure every hotel had their own way of dealing with the lack of revenue other than simply closing down. The way my hotel did it was to shut down every other floor to hopefully comply with the distance standards at the time, and rotate them out every week for deep cleaning. They had even shut off the breakers for those floors to save on energy. It was actually a pretty effective system, even if those floors were pitch black. As I've already sort of mentioned, overnight shift often triples and sometimes even quadruples on their duties. Among other things, my normal shifts consist of cleaning common areas, folding laundry, getting breakfast started, and/or active security. Now, I'm a licensed security guard in my state, but some hotels simply don't want to pay security guard prices. Instead, they have overnight shift do property walks to check on everything. This is why you see the park at your own risk signs in the parking lot. Despite this, I genuinely like the walk, and I try to do one every couple of hours throughout my shift. Sometimes, though, I would do a lazy walk. I couldn't see anything anyways. If I knew the floor was shut down, I'd merely ride the elevator up, step out, look both ways down the hall, and call it good. That's what I was doing. I was in the elevator, about to step out onto an out-of-use floor, when the doors opened and I froze. Got face to face with a toddler in a diaper and messy t-shirt. I thought I was hallucinating. They didn't say anything, they didn't even move, until the elevator started to close and they started taking off. I remember thinking, if this isn't an hallucination, somebody is going to be looking for this child. So I catched the door and eventually hurried them into the elevator. This was in the Rockies, and as such, we got snow a lot, and it wasn't uncommon for management to let staff stay at the property rather than brave the ice if the weather got too bad. One of my co-workers happened to take advantage of that perk that night, and I didn't know what else to do. I led the child to her room, knocked on the door, and when she answered I said, "Do you also see this small child?" Mind you, I was well aware of how insane I must have looked knocking at like 3 a.m. with a random baby. She assured me it was real, and we all went downstairs to the desk to wait while I called non-emergency. We tried to figure out what their name was, but they weren't quite old enough yet to have that conversation. The officers were even less helpful. Their brilliant solution was just to start knocking on rooms until someone says they're missing a child. Luckily, and hilariously, the room at the end of the hallway I decided to start with was slightly open. It takes me and the police department a minute to get an answer because it's 3 in the morning, but a woman does eventually come to the door. I let her know of the situation. She turns around and all I hear is, "Oh God, Richard, he got out again." Turns out this kid is a master escape artist that loves to climb and will occasionally run off. I can laugh about it now, but I was absolutely horrified seeing that kid in the darkness at the time. It was seriously like something out of The Shining. I thought something horrible was going to happen, like even if it wasn't a ghost, there was no telling where this thing came from. How long it had been there, who it belongs to, or why they weren't around. It was the hardest I think I've ever panicked on the job. Can anyone relate? 3. I work at a nondescript mid-grade hotel where people sleep when they have the misfortune of being in my area. Usually for work, or because they've been driving so long towards somewhere better, and my little slice of wasteland is where they run out of give a crap. One such traveler a few weekends back was a delightfully elderly gentleman. His driver's license told me that he had been on the road for at least 8 hours, and would be hitting his 80-something birthday later this year. As can be the case with the elderly, it took a little longer with him. Sitting in the lobby were 2 men trying their hardest to click just the right spot on our terrible Wi-Fi and conduct whatever failing business led them with no better option than to stay with us. I didn't pay a lot of attention to them, because you rarely do when people are behaving. As I was printing out nice old guys and handing him a pen, Every ounce of peace I had in life was cracked wide open with a loud shrill. "Excuse me, can I get some toilet paper?" I did not avert my eyes from his face, and that is why I saw the heartbreaking look in his eyes. Someone was bitching about him being slow again, or not being able to hear, or forgetting something, or being clumsy. "Just one moment, I am with a guest." I answered in the nicest and politest "screw you, thanks for being a customer" tone I could manage, then smiled at him and said, "Thank you for your patience." The audacity. To think that you could put a very simple but very tactful "please don't be a butthead, thank you," and have it graciously accepted. I could have and really should have just told this literal barefoot hilljack frizzy-haired toad standing at my desk disrespecting an elderly person, messing up people's delusional business ideas, and making my recovery from pneumonia that much less excellent to ribbit her butt back across the parking lot. Instead, I handed nice old guy his registration card and a pen, and turned to get Kermit's inbred cousin her TP. At this point, she could have, and really should have, just shut up, taken the toilet paper, and hopped back up to her room. Nope. Toadalina had to keep talking. "You don't have to be rude." "I'm not being rude." "Yes, you are." At this point, she is right next to the nice old guy, and that is not okay. He has had a long journey, both in life and on the road, and Princess Toadstool has messed up enough for both of us as far as I'm concerned. I love my job, I really do. I love all my co-workers to pieces and would fight a ninja for any one of them, but I was not going to cultivate a future Karen of America with the fertilizer of entitlement. "What room are you in?" "Why?" she screeched. "Because you're leaving." "You can't make me leave." "Actually, I can. You're being a disturbance to guests who are minding their own business and behaving. Get your belongings and leave. If you don't, I am calling the police." "You can't do that." She then turned to the nice old guy and said, "Can you believe this?" Nice old guy just continued to peacefully and quietly fill out his reg card as I dialed 911. Toadie hopped back up to her room. Nice old guy smiled and handed me my card. Before he could finish signing it, the police were rolling into the parking lot, and were still there when they came in. Had a blast watching her cuss me out again, and the cops tell her that if she didn't go, they'd take her to jail. Nice old guy smiled, thanked me, went to his room, and enjoyed his quiet evening. For the next week, Toad and her family continued to call and email, cussing out whoever answered, and demanding free things from my boss. He laughed at her and told her to forget it. I hope that girl learned a lesson in manners. 4. Yesterday at work, our system and internet went down, which isn't great. We couldn't really do anything, so we used pen and paper to check people out, and luckily, only one of the guests hadn't paid, but they would come back later, which they did because they left luggage with us. So it's almost 11 a.m., checkout hasn't ended, and this old man shows up.
"Hello, I want to check in."
"Hello. Unfortunately, our system is down right now, so we can't check which room you have, or if your room is done yet. Check-in is at 3 p.m. You may leave your bag here for now if you want to."
"I called yesterday. You said I could check in early."
I really doubt that, because we never guarantee an early check-in. We only say that it might be possible, but no guarantee. Okay, unfortunately, we can never guarantee an early check-in, and right now our system is down, so there is nothing we can do. Again, we really apologize for the inconvenience.
"But I want to check in."
Okay, I understand that, but right now we have no access to our system, so we cannot see your room type, and we can't make any keys.
"Okay, but I was told I could check in."
This was repeated a few times, and at this point I'm not sure he understands what it means that the system is down and not working. I'm really losing my patience because he just keeps repeating he wants to check in. We explained to him that he can get his keys later, and if he doesn't arrive before we close, we're not a 24/7 hotel, he will receive information about how to access his keys on his own via SMS. He once again states that he wants to check in, and at this point my boss takes over and explains to him how he will get his keys later, like, "My guy, You are 4 hours early. You cannot grasp what it means that a system isn't working. Please just leave your bag and come back later. Through some miracle, my amazing colleague managed to figure out his room type through some printed papers from yesterday. Remember that one of those rooms is actually clean? Lord knows how she managed to make keys, probably black magic, but we solved it, and my boss showed him to his room. Part of me wanted to just send him away and text him with the information later, because I was so done, and part of me was very happy that we managed to just get him a room, because this meant that we didn't have to deal with him anymore. It would later turn out that the system started working again while the guest was in the bathroom, and that's how he got his keys. 5. So I just moved with my spouse. I have worked in customer service and hospitality over a decade. It's not new to me. I love helping people. I was excited when I got the job working at my 4th hotel. Front desk agent. I have never worked in this big of a hotel before, but I've been getting trained by the front desk supervisor. I really like that person. They're kind and professional. The director of operations is absolutely amazing. They always ask if I'm okay. Bring me to their office and show me additional training and tips. I've had coworkers also train me. The thing is, almost every person that shows me something is different from what the other showed me. So I had to kind of find my way and really just listen to DOO and my front desk supervisor. I'm starting to get comfortable with grooming reservations and all that. Anywho, there is a manager on duty that is unprofessional sometimes and rude. The first days I worked there, they said, "You sound monotoned," when you're telling guests about the hotel. That made me very self-conscious. I got over it. I show my guests compassion and kindness. I understand people will try to pull one over on you if they can get free things, but there are some guests that deserve refunds. This guest deserved that, and such better treatment. She was a sweet lady that checked in. I checked her in. She was with us for 2 days. At checkout early that morning, she comes down in tears just about, because there were bugs all in her room, well over 5. I've freaked over bed bugs before and know exactly how she was feeling. My moderator for the front desk, I think they're a part of management but honestly not sure, was late, so it was just me. I told her it's okay. I'm so sorry this is happening. I told her to go get pictures right away so she could have proof before anything, and also I told her I wanted to see what type of bugs it was for the safety of her in the hotel. She came back down, and my manager showed up by then. I looked at the pictures, and housekeeping also saw the room. It was black-looking bugs, almost beetle-like, but disturbing nonetheless. I told the guest the upside. It's not bed bugs or roaches, and I got a relief chuckle from her, but she was very disturbed as I would be as well. We charge a resort fee each day, and my MOD was very rude and showed no compassion. She offered to waive the resort fees, which would have been nothing. The lady was so kind and sweet. She kept her composure so well and asked could she not get a refund. Finally, after my MOD telling her she doesn't have the power to do that, and argues and is rude for about 3 minutes, my manager tells me just refund her for 1 night and walks off. I have never done this before at this hotel. I had no idea what to do. I ended up using the wrong codes and just having to calculate everything myself, and I refunded her a night plus the tax and the resort fee. But it was very messy, because I had no idea what to do. The lady said in front of my manager, "You're way more professional than they are." I gave a "thank you, but please don't say this in front of my boss" type face. I knew that would put a target on my back, and probably did. I gave the guest a card for the DOO, the amazing boss that helps me out. When the guest walked away, my manager looked over to me and said, "Never engage with a guest about bugs," and then proceeded to show me how to take charge for the night of the room after I was told to do it myself. Showing me how after I did it horribly and apparently wasn't supposed to refund the sweet woman taxes or the resort fee. Then the MOD gossips about coworkers and other people. I try not to engage. I've done it like we all have, but I don't want to be that person. If someone gossips about others, they're gossiping about you too when you're not there. I wasn't even supposed to be doing that on the res. Only upper management like the manager should have taken those charges off, is what I was told. What can I do here? I love my job, I love my co-workers and other bosses, and absolutely adore the DOO. I was planning to talk to them on my day off about the manager. Is this a good idea? I just don't like treating guests like that, and telling me not to engage when a woman has bugs in her room? Yes, it's summer and they have balconies, but that doesn't matter. She deserved compassion, and absolutely deserved the refund she got. Calming the guests down and letting them know it's not bed bugs, and all I would do is throw my clothes in the wash when I got home and not worry is wrong? I wanted to calm her and make her feel less worried, and people appreciate that. I would want someone to do the same for me. I'm venting, guys. Sorry. Thoughts? I also want to add that the manager has offered to get me a coffee before coming to work, or when food is ordered. For the front desk, I get asked if I want something. I'm just really confused and angry about this dynamic and situation. Hellfreezer's note: I would address your concerns with the higher-ups. Be as gentle as you can. Ask if this is their normal behavior. Ask why they're so irritable with you. Them offering to bring you food and things, that's nice, I guess, but it doesn't mean they're not being crummy the rest of the time. I think an honest but polite conversation with your superiors, not that particular manager, would go a long way, and I hope it works out for you. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Coahw, episode 147. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Before you go, please hit the like button and share the video with friends and family. If you'd like early access to the videos, you can support me on my Patreon page for as little as $1 a month and get all the videos at once on a Monday. You'll also find links in the description for the Hellfreezer merchandise store, which is located on Teespring, as well as a link to the Hellfreezer Discord. If you really enjoyed today's video and would like to leave a tip, do that by clicking on the heart with a $sign underneath the video. That is never required, but is very much appreciated and really does help. Okay, no other bits and bobs today, so let's move right along to Hellfreezer's question of the day. And today's question is: do you have a favorite item of clothing that is old and worn and really should be thrown out, but you just can't bring yourself to do it? In my case, it's not that old, it's only a couple of years. It was a Friday the 13th t-shirt I got as a gift, and unfortunately I don't think it was made of the best material because one day I put it on, after having only had it for I think a couple of months, and it tore quite badly. But it was a gift, it has sentimental value, and I liked the t-shirt itself. So it's still in my rotation. I don't wear it outside, I'll wear it just when I'm relaxing at home. It's still holy. Should probably get stitched, but even if I do stitch it, it's going to be obvious because the tear's in a place that isn't. It's not at a seam, is on the actual main body of the shirt. But yeah, I keep it for sentimental reasons because it was an unexpected and nice gift. Why don't you let me know what you think in a comment below? And before we go, let's have the answer of the day from a previous video. And this was in relation to helpful things you hate. And today's answer comes from Nookerwolf. I usually get text reminders instead of call reminders. They work better. You might want to see if you can do that. Not an option, I'm afraid. But I just hate that a lot of stuff is made for daywalkers, and as night shift get told 11 AM is sleeping in. I agree. Boo, hiss, and other unpleasant words. Thank you very much for your answer, Nookerwolf. And with that, I'm going to head off for now, so until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourself.